to forget, he tried so many ways to subvert the election.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he
made up their minds. 75 million people still chose to vote for Donald Trump, which makes me think
When you see his name, people go directly to him because he has become an addiction.
Welcome, Patriots, to another episode of The View, Going Crazy, over the presentation of an explosive report on the possible return of Donald Trump to the White House. Get ready for a sharp analysis of everything these ladies don't want you to know. Jack Smith produced a report, and the hidden truth behind this, you're going to find out now.
This morning, just after midnight, Special Counsel Jack Smith released a sprawling 137-page report detailing why he had enough evidence to convict the guy who's about to return to the White House. Now, this is an investigation that began 2.5 years ago, and you know who still denies all of it. But was anybody surprised by what they saw? Did you read it? What did it say? Anything new?
Yeah. Well, I'm a legal nerd. I read it. It's almost 150 pages. Yeah. I think what was striking to me, Whoopi, is that, you know, most of us, or we all should have watched the January 6th committee hearings. And there were so many bombshells. I mean, people were testifying, you've testified in front of the committee. They had been conducting their own investigation almost in tandem, and they found more things. Mm-hmm. And so they not only found different things, they found the same things. And so the investigation supported each other. And that was very unusual to me, that there was that much evidence.
And this 139-page report is yet another attempt by the left to divert attention from the main problems that the American people are facing. And instead of focusing on real solutions, they keep attacking Donald Trump. But what is DeVille not telling us? Is all this really for the defense of democracy or for its corruption? Check it out.
Much evidence. What was also very unusual to me is something that I think we often forget. He tried so many ways to subvert the election. Mm-hmm. You know, he, of course, tried to pressure Mike Pence, and then his followers tried to kill him. He also called Georgia's, threatened to kill him. He also, thank you. He also called Georgia's state attorney, Secretary of State, and said, I need 11,000, like the exact margin. I need 11,780 votes. Like, what much more clear evidence would you need of someone trying to effectively subvert an election? And the final thing I'll say is, in his speech that he gave, in all his discussions at the Capitol before the attack, he mentioned the word fight 10 times. 10 times. And so to say that he isn't directly responsible for what happened January 6th is a stretch.
But nothing is going to happen to him. That's the only thing.
Well,
no.
It feels like nothing is going to happen to the guy. So let's just say adios to democracy, and let us say adios to the idea that no one is above the law. Apparently he is.
Yeah.
And that's what they voted for in this country.
Well, there was kind of a debate among legal experts.
Can I just one more thing? I want to give props to Vice President Pence. I don't know if people realize what a heroic thing he did. Yeah. And his wife, who snubbed Trump at
Carter's funeral.
At Carter's funeral, the two of them are standing tall, in my opinion, and I like that about them. I have to give it to them.
There was a bit of a debate among legal experts if a case of this size and magnitude could even be tried and concluded in the span of 3.5 years. And I'm not an expert. I didn't know if it would be the case, but
it could have been done.
At this point, we know 250 plus witnesses were interviewed. 55 people testified to the grand jury. There were thousands and thousands of documents they went through. And at the end of the day, 18 million people tuned into the January 6th committee hearings. We know, I can't even speak for how many people saw the footage of January 6th.
And that narrative that Trump tried to subvert the elections just doesn't hold up anymore, right? We know very well that he was questioning irregularities that put our electoral system to the test. And that is a right of any citizen. We know very well that he was questioning irregularities that threaten the integrity of our electoral system. And that is the right of any citizen who is in favor of democracy. But why still, even with all this narrative, millions of people still chose Trump? There is an answer, but they don't want to hear it. Do you know what it is? No. But you're going to find out now.
Yet voters made up their minds. 75 million people still chose to vote for Donald Trump, which makes me think they decided he was better for the country despite these things. I am not convinced that most Americans were comfortable with the events of January 6th, even who went on to support Donald Trump. And I wonder, I think what we may miss about the election is that a lot of people don't like Trump. They thought he was a better leader, and they're aware of his flaws. And I think Democrats focus too much on defining him and reminding people of the bad things, and they should have spent more time saying, this is what we're for, this is what we're going to do. That's what I keep coming back to, rather than Kamala Harris giving the speech on the ellipse to remind people of January 6th. Go to a Michigan Union Hall, talk to people about their future.
Democracy is I think, trying to destroy our very republic is pretty important. And I'll say this, you know, you said no one's above the law.
Yeah.
I disagree with this Department of Justice policy, because it is not the law that you cannot, you know, indict a sitting president. That is not the law. It is just a long-standing DOJ policy. And I think had the Supreme Court, that has been packed by Donald J. Trump, been a different composed differently, I do think that this case would have gone to trial.
But Jack, the reason he folded the investigation is because Donald Trump
of the DOJ policy.
Well, no, it's because he oversees the Department of Justice in, 6 days. He knew that the trial would be stopped.
But
Jack Smith would be fired. It wasn't that he wasn't willing to move forward.
But that's not what he said. He said that he did. One second, I just want to answer that. What he did say is, it is a long-standing DOJ policy, and that is why I have to drop the case.
But can we now call him a convicted felon? Is that okay? Or am I going to be sued?
You can call him a 35. You can call him a 34-count convicted felon.
It's very striking that when he talks about immigrants who break the law and he's going to send them back and he's against these people, he broke the law.
Yes, he
I mean, the whole
did.
thing, it doesn't make any sense anymore. I mean, I feel like we're in a lot of trouble now.
One thing that I read, and I don't know, you know, you guys can check me in my ear, is that as a convicted felon, he cannot he cannot have a weapon, yet he can be the commander-in-chief of our military. I just find the hypocrisy.
Well, there's,
stunning.
I mean, if look, it is what it is right now. Yeah.
Well, there is double jeopardy, and they did dismiss the case, and so I think it would be very unlikely that he would be tried again.
Didn't they dismiss it
without prejudice?
Without prejudice?
I'm not sure. Can somebody tell me in my ear?
Somebody can check that.
He also will be 82 when he leaves office. I think that there is a day in the future where we won't talk about Donald Trump every single day, and
tomorrow.
he can go off into the sunset.
But you know,
I'm sorry, age doesn't protect you from the law.
No, I know, but do you think it'd be good for the country if after he leaves office after 4 years,
you know what?
we're now we do a 4-year trial?
You know why?
I would like to see it.
You know why I think it would not be a bad idea? Is because a lot of young people have no idea how the law is supposed to work.
That's right.
And I think it's important, just like when they say, you know, and I don't want to make this comparison because I don't want to be accused of calling him this, but there are things where, you know, we say statute of limitations should not sit here. We should not have a statute of limitations. When somebody breaks the law like this, there should not be a statute.
And by the way,
you
are right. They dismissed it without prejudice, which means they can bring it again.
So, you know,
I'm over it.
You may be over it, but you know what?
I'm just over Trump consuming all of our lives constantly. We're gonna have 4
And those
years.
75 million votes show that many Americans believe Trump is the best for the country. There is a fascination in the media with Trump. He's the best for the country. The truth is that there is a fascination in the media with Trump that can't be ignored. Trump continues to lead the headlines, do good or do bad. It's an obsession without limits. And another proof of this is what they said.
We have 4 years ahead.
Unfortunately, this is what drives people. This is what drives people on television. This is what drives people on the internet. When you see his name, people go directly to him because he has become an addiction.
Yeah, some people are addicted to it.
He is an addiction.
It's like stopping to watch a traffic
But
accident.
it's also history. This isn't. But it's also history.
The
what you
report
testified.
stands. That'll be in the history books.
It's in the history books. You testified all of that is going to
He
be
doesn't care.
in the halls of Congress, in the congressional record. I'm
that
sorry,
matters for
I'm
the
never going to
history
get
books.
tired of it. I'd like to see in the congressional record that there was a sitting president that was
in the congressional
indicted
record from the January 6th
and
hearings.
also convicted.
But Lord help me if
That's
in
what I wanna
6 years
see.
we're in the middle of a Trump trial. I want to move on with our lives.
Listen,
You can't.
I'm going to leave this alone because it's too ripe for somebody to say something that they should not say.
And the media's obsession with Trump only proves his lasting impact. While the left tries to erase his influence, the people recognize his value as a leader who put America first. Once again, the elite tries to control the narrative, but the truth is that Trump remains a force to be reckoned with. If you want to keep exploring these issues with us and learn the whole truth behind this media narrative, keep watching our videos. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Share your opinion in the comments and with your friends. Thank you all very much. Together, we can challenge the narrative and fight for the true America. See you next time.